Today we're talking about auxiliary wiring and lighting, how to upgrade your Evolution D5 golf cart to add some other 12-volt accessories. Whether you want a light bar, an amber light, some spotlights, maybe you're interested in some underglow. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through how I did it and get you up and running in no time. So after doing a bunch of research online and trying to figure out the best way to wire, 5 or 6 different 12-volt automotive accessories into the cart, one of the things that pops up is the BA power plate, which looks like a really great plug-and-play way to go about integrating accessories like audio systems or other things like that into your cart. The only downfall I noticed of the BA power plate was all of the complex wiring from underneath the seat to your dash was still kind of left up to you. You had to figure out how you wanted to make the switches turn on and off your 12-volt systems. So for me, the solve for that was to go to this Auxbeam control panel. And so what I ended up doing was a little bit of custom wiring underneath the seat to the Auxbeam module, which is underneath here. And they provide you this really nice dash switch, which has all the wiring streamlined for up to 6 different accessories. They include stickers for you too, so you can kind of find ones that match what your accessory is doing. So for me, I used the light bar switch for the light bar, cubes for the cubes, amber for my amber, underglow for the underglow, and I have 2 extras for the future, which I actually haven't wired up yet, but that's okay. So if you don't need them all, you have space for adding other things in the future. This is a really nice little aluminum module that comes with sticky tape and an adapter. There's a couple different places you probably could have ended up putting it, but for me, I just slotted it here. If you are gonna have more than one accessory, I definitely recommend getting this Auxbeam switch panel system. I found it is essentially the central hub to everything I did with my accessories. You can grab these on Amazon for about $120 and they are worth every dollar. It's gonna make all your wiring super clean from the control panel to your other accessories. And the box lives underneath this seat. It's nice and small. I'll show it to you later in the video. And how we wire it directly to the DC inverter. So this is essentially gonna be the brain of our auxiliary lighting system as we go forward. As the accessories that we ended up putting on this Evolution D5, we added 2 spotlights here. They really help widen the beam of light kind of across the road. The original headlights are quite tight. What I liked about these lights was that it claimed that they could do 3 different things. Obviously the spotlight, but they also had a daytime running light and a turn signal. One of the things I find with the Evolution cart is that the turn signals are great, but in direct sunlight, sometimes I find cars at a 4-way stop try to turn across me because they don't see it. Let me turn on the signals here. So what was cool about these daytime runners is they also had the ability to send a turn signal pulse to it. So I was able to tap into the turn signal behind the headlight and wire it to these spotlights, so that it brings your turn signal up a little bit. And when you're at an intersection, it kind of makes it a little bit more obvious. You have the mirror, you have your spotlight, and the side here. So hopefully people understand where you're going. So I did like that feature of these Auxbeam spotlights. The spotlights are super bright. Generally when I turn them on, you kind of are blinding other people, but you can angle them or change them and do what you want to do with them that way. For mounting the spotlights, we ended up ordering clay basket holders. So these were designed for a basket to go on top of it, but you could order it without the basket for about $80 to $90. I like that it bolted right into the side existing mount and looked pretty clean. So overall, I'm kind of happy with how those ended up, and they look pretty good in factory. Out front, we just did a small 12-inch light bar. It's amber, was pretty inexpensive. It had direct mounts on the back that we just put a bolt and some spacers through, and it's nice and rigid and stable right there. So for the underglow, it's actually just 4 LED rock lights that are wired underneath, one near the front, one on the left, and one on the right. They're really rather inexpensive and easy to wire. They come with an app, and you could change the colors and things once it's set up, and it'll remember your last setting. So if you want them to be blue and turn it on and turn it off, that's no problem. You can change that after the fact. So that was also pretty easy. It's just 4 little aluminum pucks mounted underneath the cart. So now it's time to figure out the wiring. Let me take the seat off, and we do that just by pulling this up, and then we'll also get into the backside here. Okay, with the seat off, we've revealed the giant 48 volt battery in here. You are not going to wire anything to this. Do not get tempted to wire your lighting or your auxiliary or anything to this battery. Leave it alone. It is 48 volt. It is too much voltage for any automotive style accessory. We need to wire into 12 volts. So everything you see here, don't even think about touching it. This is the charger as well. It's for charging this battery. Do not touch any of this stuff. We need to tap into the 12 volt line, which is on the 2+2 underneath here, and on your 4 forward, it's underneath the other seat, I believe. So we'll show you where we're going next is just in here. So to get to it on the 2+2, you gotta kind of hook the seat belts behind, and we will pull off this back cap over here. Okay, so with the cap off, you can see over here we have the controller, and this is the brain of the cart. It is right here with the big controller pin. Over here on the right-hand side, on top of that there, the aluminum fins is the voltage regulator. And on the 2+2, the cabling is coming out of the back there. I'm gonna try to get the camera a little bit closer, but it is on the driver's side near the rear. I'm gonna go over there now. Okay, so what you are looking for is on the back side of that aluminum box with fins is a cable that's coming out, and it includes a collection of colors. There's a yellow, a red, a green, and a black, I believe. If you might need to unbundle this, like from the factory, sometimes it's a little bundled up. But on the cable, you'll see a thick green, a black, a red with a fuse, and a yellow. So this is the low volt or 12 volt power coming out of that inverter. So typically what you want to do is tap into this before it ends up going into the harness. So what I have done is I have spliced it, but you will be able to see the adapter is kind of a T adapter like this. You can unclip it, and I spliced into these lines. And what you're going to want to tap into is that green and the black line. Now, this is the best place to tap into it because the wiring is nice and thick on this side. After the clip, the gauge of wiring goes down a little bit. So for all of my accessories, this green and black is what you want. The red, this is the directions that plug into the BA power plate, is what they were using. So that is what I ended up using. This line is accessory driven, so it only turns on when your cart is on. It's not like a car battery where you're gonna get constant 12 volt on this. It only comes on when the accessories come on. So it is when you hit the button, you start to get power through this green, and the black is your ground. So this is the cable that you're looking for. Comes out of this aluminum box into here, and you need to find it. And I'll talk about what I tried to do in a second, but these are going to be your main power lines going into my Auxbeam box. Ordered this kit of adapters off Amazon, and I thought it would be really easy and clean way of doing it. Now, the one thing I was like, okay, this looks exactly like the adapter. It's a T-type power adapter, and I thought it was gonna be perfect. If you do this, it's definitely worth a try to kind of grab a set of these and build your own ponytail adapter. The downfall I found is the ones that I ordered. On the inside, the adapters on the Evolution cart are the opposite to what you see here. So do you see how on the upper one, so we're looking at the female end that the male end would insert into. On the upper plug, the offset on the flat pin, on the flat, is off to the left. That needs to be off to the right. And on the bottom, the flat pin is offset to the top, and it needs to be offset to the bottom. So the Evolution cart offsets on the pins inside of this exact same shape. Everything is identical. The pins are the same, but the offset on how they go is the opposite to this. You can get an adapter like this, but just try to find the opposite of what I purchased, because these ones did not work out and it was quite frustrating. I had everything wired nice, and then when you go to slide them together, they just were not sliding together because the offsets were different on the pins inside of the adapter clip. So all right, so once you get your spliced into that green wire and the black wire, you're going to run those wires around the back and into here through the hole where there's already a hole on the inside. And I decided to put my box right here on the floor beside the battery. Okay, so the Auxbeam comes with a little fuse box, and that little fuse box we're going to mount right here beside the battery. The inline is going to come from those two wires into here, and then all our other wiring is going to, whether it's the light bar or the spotlights, generally I found the best way to get access to anything under the hood is to just pull off this glove box. You can open it, undo this screw, undo that screw, and take the glove box out. And that gives you some room with your hands to route wires there. Pull out the cup holders so you can squeeze these and lift the cup holder out. Gives you space to put your hands in. And then that way, if you're trying to tap into the back of the headlights to get into your turn signals or something like that, you can do that. There's a cavity that comes down inside of here, down to the floor. And so there's a nice empty cavity. And then you can route underneath the cart and then pop it back upside and in. So generally you want all of your pairs of wires to end up inside of here for you to wire into your box. Now, excuse my wiring, so this is the Auxbeam fuse box here. And so any accessory lines come in and they you put like a flat end on it and wire it to the box. The Auxbeam accessory box has a small red wire, which is the accessory switch, and then it has this thicker braided power cable. So if you were going to put this in a car, you would hardwire this thick power cable to your, essentially directly to your battery, and the red wire would be your accessory switch to tell your Auxbeam, hey, the car's accessory is on, let's light up the accessories, light up the display on here, and start to prepare everything. So with our golf cart, because the power line that we will wire to this, the green wire, is accessory driven, we wire both this red relay and the main power together. So they both get power when the cart gets power, and they both turn off when the cart loses its power, when your accessory turns off. So generally that's the only other tip, is this is more designed for automotive setup where you're getting 12 volts constant on the thick line, and then you get your accessory on the small one. And so to set this up, we wire them both together just so that they're triggered at the same time and they carry power at the same time. So in the side of the Auxbeam here, you can see all the different accessory lines. So each one of these cables coming out is either for the light bar, the amber, the spotlights, different things like that. And they're all just wired to like aux 1, aux 2, aux 3, aux 4 in through the side. There's relays and fuses that you can independently set on the side of this box. I'm sorry, I can't get a great angle at it, but it really is nice. I wired it all before I mounted the box to the floor, but now that it's mounted to the floor, it's hard for me to kind of get a view of it. It really is quite simple inside here. So that is how everything gets wired inside of here. So the other thing that Auxbeam provides is obviously the dash remote. So all of the wires from this remote are bound together in a nice tight spline, and those come down and they plug in to a clip on the back of this box. So you don't need to route individual relay wires and switch wires. All of that is included in the 6-panel switch. So coming from the back of here, all we do is route that down through the same spot and into the box. It then turns on the different switches, aux 1, aux 2, aux 3, etc. Okay, so the only other thing to remember is I'm not exactly sure, but that internal DC inverter there that comes stock on these carts is rated around 200 watts of total power. So you have to remember it's already powering your display, your headlights, any other accessories going on inside of the car. So imagine maybe you have 150 watts left to play with. That's why I kind of liked this setup where I could turn on, if the light bar at the top is a 100-watt light bar, and then you're adding 100-watt spots. And so you're able to kind of choose what you might like to use. Each of them can be individually fused so that if there's a max rating on any of them, that you can protect the accessories for different different wattages. But just remember, you might not be able to power everything all at once. You want to be relatively light on the system. So I am able to turn on all of my accessories at the exact same time. I don't typically do that, like what I maybe wouldn't drive for an hour with all of them turned on, sucking my inverter, but I can toggle them on and off in different ways using the controller, which works quite well. So just remember that you might have about a 200-watt rating. I wouldn't try to power something insane off of that line. Overall, the entire setup kind of took about 2 afternoons, an afternoon to mount the accessories and route all the loose ends of the cables, mark them and stick them inside of the box here, get them in this area, and then another afternoon for tapping into the DC inverter and getting that line into the box. But getting everything cleaned up, zip tied, a bit of wire loom, making sure everything's clean, shrink wrapped, and then done. But overall, it's not rocket science. You just got to know which line to tap into. It's already an accessory line, and you can use it for other 12-volt accessories like you would in normal automotive stuff. So yeah, have fun with your cart. There's a few things you can do that don't even involve needing to do wiring. One thing I was debating was trying to get a dome light or something in underneath the roof. So at night, if you're picking up passengers or people are loading and unloading, sometimes it can feel very dark inside the cart. Instead of doing all that via wiring or the control box, I just found these little lights on Amazon. They're kind of like a roll bar mount. They're battery operated, little LED. And all you kind of have to do is use the built-in Velcro them onto the pillar here. And it gives kind of like a cool dome light inside the cart. You're probably not using it for very long. So not everything actually has to get wired. You could always do some simple battery operated accessories inside the cart to keep things clean and nice if you just want something easy like that. I'll give you the link to where I got those on Amazon. I think they were relatively inexpensive. But yeah, overall, have fun doing your wiring. Be safe. It's not overly complex. You stay away from the actual battery and use that low voltage 12-volt DC inverter line in the back. All right. Any questions? Let me know. And I hope this helps.